We're going to start with the Cavs.
Yeah.
But we got to start with the Browns real quick because they did make a move this morning. Zach Jackson reported the Browns have signed safety Rodney Mcleod, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah.
From the Colts last year, previously played with Jim Schwartz in Philadelphia. Immediate reactions to the thought, is he a guy that makes the roster?
I've never heard of Rodney Mcleod. Have you guys heard of Rodney Mcleod? Apparently started most of the season for Indianapolis last year and had a decent PFF grade. I will say, you have seen a lot of veteran free agents all of a sudden in the last 24 or 48 hours sign one-year deals. The reality is, for the most part, with rare exceptions, that a free agent signing now, there's a reason they're still a free agent.
I watch football all the time. I don't know who Rodney Mcleod is. I'm not going to pretend I do. 80.1 overall score last season.
That's really good.
85.3 in coverage.
Zach said he played under Schwartz in Philly. There's the connection.
Yeah.
Started 15 games for the Colts last year. I'm not going to pretend to be a Rodney Mcleod expert, but obviously I think Jim probably pushed for that, wanted him familiarity with the system, what he wants to do. And the Browns probably did need to add another safety. So
he's probably their third safety, right? I mean, isn't he most likely? Who else
off
you
the top
got
of my
there?
head, yeah.
We talked about yesterday, outside of Delpit and Thornhill, they are very
right. Who are
very
the other
weak
safeties
at the
on the roster? They
position.
still have that. What's his name they drafted a few years ago? I can't think of his name.
Well, they cut LeCount.
Oh, they cut him. Right.
Is the 20? I think he was 27-year-old rookie. What was his name?
I can't even think of any more safeties that they have.
What is his name? Bell.
Bell is still on the team, yes.
Yeah, Bell. He was 27. He came
They
from
didn't draft any safeties.
Did not draft any safeties. So
I mean, Rodney McLeod's a veteran. Won the Super Bowl. Zach mentioned he played for Jim Schwartz. It was in Philadelphia. The guy's 32. He's going to be 33 years old before the season. So he's been in the league a long time. Played for the Rams he was with the Colts again in 20. So he was with the Rams from 2012 to 2015, the Eagles from 16 to 21, and the Colts in 2022. So I don't know. He's good. He probably does. I don't know. The grades were still good, so he'll be their third safety probably.
So I looked at the depth chart real quick.
Yeah.
Currently, the two backup safeties listed as the Browns' second stringers.
Yeah.
DeAnthony Bell, as G mentioned, and Bubba Bolden.
Never heard of those guys. This guy, I should have heard of Rodney McLeod. Now that I'm looking at his bio.
Our director, Steve.
Yeah.
Not director Steve, but EP director Steve's a big Eagles fan.
Yeah.
And he just texted us, and I'll read this exactly. He probably knows McLeod better than any of us. He goes, McLeod was solid in Philly under Schwartz, but he's 32 and totally washed. So
yeah, I don't know if he's totally washed, but it appears he had a decent year last year. So I would assume, since the backup safeties right now are slappies, that he's probably their third safety.
I'm kind of dumb for this. I should have thought about this earlier.
Yeah.
So when you go get guys like this, usually when, there's new coaches that came in college, we had 3 or 4 different coaches that came in. Usually, generally speaking, you got a person that may have worked with him somewhere or a kid may have been at another school under him. They bring him along. And basically what they do is they're there to set an example of, okay, this is the way I want it done. He might not be the greatest at playing, or he might not be a starter, but he can show them different concepts on he could pull them up in the room and say, hey, watch this. This is what I want from the safety. Rodney, show him how to do it.
Especially during camp.
Yeah, especially during camp and learning the position.
But I would think he probably makes the team.
Probably,
right?
yeah.
Unless he just totally can't play at all. Because their starting safeties are still, Thornhill and Delpit are fairly young players. Yeah. This guy played with him a lot of years. Are those two slappies we never heard of that are the backups going to be any better than this guy as a third safety? I doubt it.
I met Bubba Bolden at Town Hall this weekend. Fun fact.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't know he was technically listed as their backup safety, but
I thought.
How did it even come up that you met him?
He was hanging out with one of my buddies who I saw when I was out there. He's like, "Oh, by the way, this is Bubba. He plays for the Browns."
Oh, okay.
Immediately was like, "Oh yeah, I know." No idea.
No clue.
He didn't recognize. Not that big.
Was he on the team last year?
Practice squad.
Okay, so
yeah.
Anyway, there's not that much to say about it. It's a depth move that
depth piece
helps with the coaching. There you go.
Last comment about this, and this comment is brought to us by Lorraine Community College. Your
Lorraine
class
County
is your
Community
future.
College.
Register now for summer and fall classes. Learn more today at lorainccc.edu to learn more. This is something Jim Schwartz said about McLeod back during their time in Philly. It's a direct quote from a press conference from Schwartz. I'll put my name on Rodney Mcleod any day, Schwartz said at a press conference on Tuesday. That guy plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. He's tough. He may not be the biggest guy in the field, but he's a warrior. He's going to do everything he can to make the play. That guy is a winner. So as Jason alluded to, and this was from their time together in Philly, definitely a Jim Schwartz move, a Jim Schwartz guy.
First line a little awkward, but I get it, and the rest of it makes a lot of sense. So
all that walk, and plus he's going to show them tempo too, because usually when coaches come in and you know your coach, everybody has their position. There's no positions up for grab. Once again, I think he's trying to spark some competition and say, look, there were some times we saw last year guys trotting, not giving a whole lot of hustle, not being flying. Because, people call loafs back in the day. Loafs are anything that you change your speed. So if I'm running after a ball carrier and I slow it down to 75%, I'm still chasing. That's still classified as a loaf. So he's going to show a tempo and how he wants to practice the run, and he'll be more of an example of that. That's why I think he brings up his toughness and hard-nosed character. So, this is just a move to get everybody stirring the pot. Say, look, hey, we got somebody that know how I want it done. You guys follow suit.
All right, we'll leave it there. So another guy, a depth piece at safety. The Browns also signed a guard yesterday.
They did.
From the Falcons.
That's funny.
Can't even think of his name. But
Just some camp bodies.
And he's a guy, he's a guy who played a little last year, too. There's a decent chance he makes the team. You always see a bunch of veterans sign right now. The draft is over, and now teams are like, what needs didn't we fill? Let's see if we can find a guy that can compete for a spot, the third guard, the third safety, the fifth corner. Those are players that are signing now. Most of the players still in free agency are not big names. I think the biggest names I can think of right now are Carson Wentz, Ezekiel Elliott,
Frank Clark,
Kareem yeah.
Hunt.
Al Woods signed yesterday. Remember we were talking about Al Woods a few weeks ago?
He signed yesterday.
He signed yesterday.
I don't think Bobby Wagner signed anywhere.
No, Bobby
He's
Wagner
back in
signed.
Seattle.
Oh, he went back to Seattle? Okay.
He's Cloudy's still out there.
We're going to go through the list of remaining free agents tomorrow and talk about
Well, we'll leave it there. Let's get to the Cavs.